What if the biggest obstacle between you and financial freedom is not how much money you earn, but how money moves through your life? Most people spend years chasing higher salaries, better jobs, and larger paychecks, believing that income alone is the answer to every financial problem. Yet all around us, there are people who earn impressive incomes and still struggle with debt, stress, and financial insecurity. At the same time, there are individuals who may not earn the highest salaries but continue building wealth year after year. The difference is not luck. The difference is not intelligence. The difference is understanding cash flow. The wealthy focus on how money flows, where it goes, and what it does after it enters their hands. They understand a principle that changes everything. Income is important, but cash flow is what determines long-term financial success. When money comes in and immediately flows out toward liabilities, consumption, and unnecessary expenses, even a large income can disappear quickly. When money is directed toward assets that generate additional income, wealth begins to multiply. This simple shift in perspective separates many rich individuals from the average person. Financial education starts when you stop asking how much money you make and begin asking what your money is doing every day. Every dollar entering your life becomes an employee assigned to a specific task. Some dollars are sent to pay bills. Some are used for entertainment. Some are consumed by debt. Others are invested into assets that continue working long after you have stopped working. The direction of these financial employees determines the future you experience. Robert T. Kiyosaki often emphasized that wealthy people think differently about money because they focus on acquiring assets rather than accumulating liabilities. Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. This distinction appears simple, yet millions of people misunderstand it. They purchase things that create ongoing expenses while believing they are building wealth. As years pass, they become trapped in a cycle where higher earnings simply support higher spending. The rich follow a different pattern. Instead of allowing lifestyle inflation to consume every increase in income, they channel a portion of their cash flow into investments, businesses, real estate, and other income-producing assets. These assets create additional streams of cash that can be reinvested again and again. Over time, the gap between earned income and passive income begins to shrink. Eventually, the assets themselves generate enough cash flow to support a desired lifestyle. This is why understanding cash flow is more powerful than simply earning more money. A person earning a modest income with excellent cash flow habits can often outperform someone earning 10 times more but spending recklessly. Financial freedom is rarely created by a single dramatic event. It is usually built through small, consistent decisions repeated over many years. Every financial choice either strengthens or weakens your future cash flow. Every purchase either moves you closer to freedom or further from it. The journey begins with awareness, because once you understand the path your money follows, you gain the power to change its destination. As this pattern becomes clearer, an uncomfortable question begins to emerge. If earning more money is not the primary answer, then why do so many hardworking people remain financially trapped despite decades of effort? The answer lies in a hidden cycle that operates quietly in the lives of millions. It begins when income increases. Excitement follows. A bigger house seems affordable. A newer car feels justified. More subscriptions, more upgrades, more monthly obligations gradually enter the picture. At first, everything appears successful from the outside. Income has grown, possessions have increased, and lifestyle has expanded. Yet beneath the surface, something dangerous is happening. Every new liability creates an additional demand on future cash flow. Instead of gaining freedom, many people unknowingly build financial cages with golden bars. The greater the expenses become, the more dependent they become on continuous income. If that income slows, the entire structure becomes vulnerable. This is the financial reality few people discuss openly. Wealth is not measured by appearances. Wealth is measured by how long your assets can support your life without requiring constant labor. This realization introduces a powerful form of suspense into every financial journey, because there comes a moment when an individual discovers that years of hard work have produced less freedom than expected. Imagine reaching a point where you realize your paycheck is not truly yours because it has already been assigned to debt payments, obligations, and recurring expenses before it even arrives. This moment can feel discouraging, but it also creates an opportunity for transformation. The wealthy recognize this challenge early and respond differently. They understand that every asset acquired should ideally contribute positive cash flow. Instead of asking whether they can afford something today, they ask whether it will improve or weaken future cash flow. This single question changes countless decisions. A productive investment may generate income month after month. A business system may continue producing value long after the initial effort is completed. A carefully selected asset can become a financial partner working 24 hours a day. Meanwhile, liabilities continue demanding attention, maintenance, and money. The contrast between these two paths grows larger over time because cash flow compounds. Small positive decisions repeated consistently can create extraordinary outcomes. Small negative decisions repeated consistently can create financial stress that lasts for decades. Here is where the true secret begins to reveal itself. The rich are not necessarily focused on becoming rich overnight. They focus on controlling the direction of cash flow. They understand that wealth is often the natural consequence of mastering this process. Every dollar directed into an asset becomes a seed. Some seeds grow slowly, some grow rapidly, but when enough seeds are planted and protected, they eventually create a forest of financial opportunity. The average person often sees only the final result and assumes success happens suddenly. They notice the wealth but miss the years of disciplined cash flow management that made it possible. Behind every significant financial achievement is usually a series of deliberate choices that prioritized assets over consumption. This is the point where many journeys either accelerate or stall. The decision appears small in the present moment, yet its consequences echo through the future. The question is no longer whether money is entering your life. The deeper question is where that money goes after it arrives, because hidden within that answer is the blueprint of your financial destiny. The encouraging truth is that changing your financial future does not require a completely different life. It requires a different pattern. Once you understand the cash flow pattern of the rich, you begin to see opportunities that were previously invisible. You stop viewing money as something that merely arrives and disappears. Instead, you begin treating it as a resource that can be directed with purpose. Every financial decision becomes a vote for the future you want to create. The wealthy understand that financial freedom is not built through occasional bursts of motivation, but through consistent habits that align with long-term goals. They develop systems that automatically direct a portion of income toward assets before unnecessary spending can consume it. They focus on education because financial knowledge helps them recognize opportunities and avoid costly mistakes. They understand that risk often comes not from investing, but from a lack of understanding. This mindset transforms challenges into lessons and setbacks into valuable experiences. As your awareness grows, you begin noticing how every expense influences future possibilities. You learn to distinguish between temporary pleasure and lasting value. You become more intentional with your choices because you recognize that cash flow is the lifeblood of financial growth. When positive cash flow increases, options expand. Stress decreases, confidence grows. New opportunities become easier to pursue because your financial foundation becomes stronger. This is why redesigning financial habits can have such a profound impact on life. The goal is not to deprive yourself of enjoyment or live in constant sacrifice. The goal is to create a structure where assets steadily grow and generate increasing streams of income. Over time, these streams begin supporting more of your lifestyle. Eventually, the relationship between work and income changes. Instead of relying entirely on active effort, you benefit from systems and assets that continue producing value. This is the transition many people dream about, but few intentionally pursue. The path begins with small actions taken consistently. Review where your money flows today. Identify expenses that repeatedly drain resources without creating value. Look for opportunities to acquire assets that can contribute positive cash flow over time. Commit to continuous learning because financial education remains one of the most powerful investments available. Remember that wealth is not a destination reached by a lucky few. It is often the result of principles applied patiently and consistently. The cash flow pattern of the rich is not a mystery reserved for special individuals. It is a framework that can be understood, practiced, and improved by anyone willing to learn. Every great financial transformation starts with a decision to think differently. Every asset begins as a single step. Every stream of passive income starts with a single investment of time, money, knowledge, or effort. The future is shaped by what you repeatedly do today. If you focus on directing cash flow toward assets, strengthening financial discipline, and expanding your financial intelligence, you place yourself on a path that leads toward greater freedom, greater opportunity, and greater control over your life. The pattern is simple, but its impact can be extraordinary. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.